Alrighty. So, kind of a rewinding a bit, because although Jacob has gotten notes from me, I still want to rewind to the point where Jacob had missed out a few games, just for recapping sake. So, you all spent some time in the Astral Sea. You were investigating the source of elemental storms that had been appearing around Ventus, and met a number of astral watchers who were sort of a group of halflings who sort of, the nature of their work is a little foreign to you, but they had been engaged in some kind of cosmic battle across the stars, and they were sort of defending / fighting for memories that lived within those stars. Some of those battles that you participated in included fighting against aberrations, which the only time you'd seen before was on the Savannah Island. The one aberration in particular, a beholder, sort of claimed that his master was somebody named Merodach. You guys did further research into Merodach through Aesop's legend lore spell, and revealed Merodach to be the Gravel Maker, which is one of the many appellations for somebody who had once cursed Ludum some time ago, and whose curse had then spread to Neptus as well. You guys eventually returned to the material plane, and Arcana had revealed that another storm appeared in the northwest of Ventus. Arcana wishes to bring the fight to Merodach. However, the concern is that many more storms will open if he takes a break from playing defense, which is what he's been doing for some time. And so the hope for you all is that you can help to bring the world together in such a way where the recovery squad is not the only group of people playing defense, and so that Arcana can help take down Merodach once and for all. To do that, you guys decided that, one evil to scratch off the earth is to continue the hunt for Selnivan, and you wanted to go fulfill your agreement with Bryn Striana to go to the Nightmire and take down that portion of her operation. But that became complicated when there was many wanted posters of Flint spread throughout the city. And now you are coming up with Plan B to get out of the city. And when we last left off, you were considering how to approach the Jade Mask for help. So in this moment, you are still in Bryn Striana's apothecary. She has put her satchel down. She was at first ready to come with you before realizing that that you guys would need some time to plan your escape from the city. But you all plotting for how you would make this approach. There sort of is a moment where you're just sort of in the middle of this conversation, and you all start to feel just like a lightness in your chest, and a soft glow emits from all of you. And as that happens, you see light start to pour out from each one of you and coalesce into Drada.
Well, you don't see that every day.
Who appears before you.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Did you just come out of our bodies?
I've learned. I'm done asking questions.
I wasn't here a moment ago, and now I'm here, and the fact that I've learned that I was just inside you, don't love that for me, but welcome back. It's good to see y'all.
Did you help yourself?
I think so.
Do you remember where you were?
It was a bit timey-quangly, but I don't think I ruined anything on a cosmic scale, and that feels great.
Were you in a fight?
It was like, was I in a fight? Was I eating a banquet? Was I dreaming a dream? I don't know. But, I was experiencing a lot, and I love experiencing less. That's really great for my brain consciousness. Now, hi!
Well, you're gonna have to help us figure out how to get out of the city.
Yeah, other than we know you could get out probably with no problem. The problem's the rest of us.
Yeah, and then
Everyone just jump in the bag of holding. There's not a problem. It's fine.
I know I shared this with you through notes, but Drada, you have a sort of memory of things that the party has experienced despite not being here for it. You feel caught up on events that have
I was
transpired.
like watching. It was like an out of body experience, kind of like watching you like through like some sort of lens or like a screen. It was like really. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's weird. All this astral stuff. Oh, gosh. It's so hard to, like, wrap your head around.
All sounds fine.
I'm with Clax. I'm just not gonna question it.
So with Brinstriana, do we have any reaction of her seeing all this take place?
She sort of looks at you and acknowledges that another person has entered the shop, which is the second time this has happened. If you remember last game, Flint was originally a weasel, and then sort of just unweaseled in the shop, and she just sort of looks and acknowledges Drada, and then goes back to trimming one of the hedges. It seems perhaps that you all are just a mystery to her that is also not worth questioning.
I did have a new idea about getting Flint out of the city, though.
Oh?
So we've
Okay.
established that if we put you in the bag of holding, you're likely to die, right?
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
there's no oxygen.
Huh?
But what if instead we filled up the bag of holding with water, and then I polymorphed you into a goldfish, and then you're a fish in water for 4 hours?
I don't
Ask
know
a follow.
enough about oxygenated water, but I know I wouldn't last forever.
No, because eventually polymorph would wear off,
Well, also that.
and then you would drown.
But yeah. Also, if you put a goldfish in like water with no oxygen or something, it will also eventually drown or suffocate. I don't know. I never had an aquarium.
You know, maybe that's what you need to do in retirement, Flint, is just get a lot of fish. I'm trying to remember polymorph. Do you do or don't retain like your consciousness in polymorph?
No.
Okay, cool. Because I would have just said throw Flint into the river and be like, well, you're a fish now. But if that's not okay, that's fair.
So what was
Is
this?
there a way we could escape through the water? Somehow?
I can't quite remember why, but I remember we decided that like trying to turn invisible probably wasn't gonna work.
Oh, because of the eye.
Oh,
I think flying wasn't gonna work. I think we briefly tried to toy around with it. Could we be invisible could I be invisible and flying? And we still thought that maybe was questionable. So I think one way or the other, we probably have to cross this bridge. Unless one of you all of a sudden knows teleport. Because I think it was longer than Dimension Door even.
Oh,
think it was
okay, I was
more
about
than
to say,
5 minutes.
I have something, but I don't think
We can't just like turn the other way and like do a really, really big loop. Like leave the other side of the city, cross a bridge. There's not another bridge. This is Flame Bridge, right?
I think this is the only way in and out. I Yeah, I think they sort of designed it that way to help with like smuggling and security and stuff.
How long is the bridge?
Several miles.
Oh.
Jeez.
Over what? Oh, it's all over water? Air? Probably.
So yeah, it's primarily over a sort of like river that cuts like you're not quite sure where the source of water is, but it seems to appear from inland.
Miles is a long way. It's not one of those bridges where they planted a median of trees all the way down the center.
There's not that many trees in Flamebridge.
Yeah, I figured tree stride was going to be a real stretch, but yeah, no teleport.
Could we create a distraction of some sort, like behind us on the bridge, so that everyone's attention goes there, and then we just make a dash for it?
I'm pretty good at distractions.
Brinstriana, who's just sort of listening in all of this, says it would be unwise to sneak out of the city with this kind of a target on your back.
Yeah, I think we maybe don't try to be clever and just try and go talk to, the Jade Mask and see what sort of options they can present us.
Do you know where to find them?
Yeah, they told us where to go to meet them at some point. They had a hideout of some kind that the name is eluding me. Jade Temple, maybe? Something like that.
The Jade Mansion.
Jade Mansion, there you go.
It's like our only option right now.
I think we go there.
So what are the odds of us getting out of there?
I mean, I don't think they're after us.
So what leverage do we have, right? So we walk in. I'm assuming they know about whatever your expertise previously was. How do we know they don't want to keep you here just as much as the whatever he is of Flamebridge? I always forget his title.
I mean, I suppose I don't know that for sure. But I think they like kind of operate like they're a business. Like I don't think they're looking to like make a bunch of trouble or involve themselves in a difficult situation when there's like an easy situation to make easier money. I think. I could be wrong.
Just because we took a month off, I'll just remind, although I think you all know this, that they did invite you to
Correct.
come, but I'll leave it there.
Why don't we say hi to your old friends? What?
We're gonna learn so much about you so quickly, and I'm so excited.
You and me both, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that there's that much more to learn. You guys, I think there's more to it than there is.
Okay, well, the last time you said that, later that day, we did in fact get ambushed with dramatic backstory, quite literally. So, lies, but exciting. Let's go.
I think the question is, do we go there now, or do we try to hole up somewhere and wait for things to calm down? And or, long rest.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no to a long rest. But that's a group
How's everybody doing? I think most people appear to be at max hit points, but I haven't looked beyond that.
I have no 4th or 5th level spell slots.
I think health-wise we're all pretty good, and spell-wise, we're iffy. I think I'm real low on resources. Sounds like Aesop is moderately low. I think
Super.
Menace was
Okay.
18.
Yeah.
I'm almost normal, so whatever works.
I have 2 first-level spells, so I'm a level 1 wizard. But I have 4 hit
And
points.
it is like, the day has been pretty hectic. It was just last night that you guys had ran away from the smelted mug, and then spent the night at the Source Institute, which was like 4 hours ago is when you woke up. So not to say you couldn't long rest, but that it just saying that it is midday. Brinstriana does sort of pipe up and says, I could close up shop for the day if you wish to stay here. I ask that we have somewhat of a firm plan to get out tomorrow so that I don't draw attention to myself being closed here, but if you do need to rest, it may be better to go out at night anyway.
When you say firm plan, like how firm of a plan?
I think we can firmly say that we will leave here in the night and go to see the Jade Mask people. I don't know if we can give you a more firm plan than that.
Well, I will remain closed for the day, and I'll come up with some good excuse for that if people ask, but tomorrow I must either be open or I must be able to post that I will be out of town for a couple days.
I think that seems fair.
Let's make it happen.
We'll rest for 8 hours, go see the Jade Mask at 1 in the morning or whatever, and know what the following day looks like? By morning, probably.
Okay. She closes up the shop. I mean, it was sort of already closed anyway, since you guys were talking about things, but Brinstriana sort of puts up various signage, closes the windows, and gives you guys space here. She does sort of, before leaving, she does sort of ask you all to not touch anything. And in some cases, she urges you to be careful when not touching anything. But she does leave and gives you all privacy in this space.
I'm gonna kind of weasel up to Clax. Be like, how do you know she's not gonna just ring, ring, ring?
We don't have any.
Friend. Oh God.
None.
Awful.
Especially, not only telling her, I don't even know if she would tell her, but just the bounty. That is a huge bounty right now on Flint.
I think the upside is she doesn't seem very motivated by money, from what we've seen.
Agreed. That's the only thing we have to go on is we've got to hope because there is nothing else we can do. But while you're thinking about that, let's plan a quick escape. Is there any other back doors or entrances in or out of this place that we can see?
I could show you. I mean, no.
Okay.
I could show you the battle map if you want to see it. So I wasn't sure if you were going to fight her at some point. But it is you're basically in. Let me see if I can pull this up. You're basically in like a pretty, just like a closed building that has just the one front door and window and really is not attached to anything else.
Great.
So she leaves out the front door?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we need a temporary little pocket dimension to hide in, happy to provide that at a moment's notice. Not an escape plan, but a buy time plan.
How long does that pocket dimension last?
An hour.
Okay. Yeah, I think we
Think
just
it'll be
keep that
good to
handy.
have guards up tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeesh.
I am just gonna, I think, sit for 10 minutes and just cast Detect Magic and just look around this space. Make sure there's not any
Lit up.
hidden traps or anything.
Sure. Roll me a perception if you're just using your eyes, and investigation if you're going to be like poking around.
I think I would be... What do I think this is? I feel like it's looking around, but it's with Detect Magic, so it's weird, but I think Perception.
Yeah, I guess, yes. That's fine.
Good roll.
Okay. Just sort of, you know, so the investigation would be sort of like opening drawers to sort of see if there's things, but sort of just like looking at what's on display and what sort of like is easily in view. There are a number of sort of like magic potions in cupboards on the wall and things of that nature, but you don't sense anything that that you wouldn't expect. You don't sense any like enchantments on the door or, you know, runes on the floor or anything like that.
If we're looking good, take watches and head to bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask Flax. If she's not motivated by money, why is she in this business with Selnavon? Do you think that she got, I don't know, caught doing something and blackmailed into doing this? Because it just didn't seem like she put up much of a fight for us to try to, you know, stop her, and she was like, oh, okay, great.
The only thing I can equate her to would be like those scholar types that would put their educational obsession above all else. Is the impression I get from her is getting the flowers and having a reliable source to be able to do this and study it and whatever else with it. I think it was, for lack of a better term, bedfellows only because things aligned. If it weren't for that, I don't think she'd be involved. At least that's what I'm telling myself, because to your point, if that isn't the case, it might be a very long night for all of us.
I think she's on our side. I think we're fine. How many bad things can happen to us in one day?
Why?
What a bold question to ask right before the thing we're nervous about.
I'm just saying. We've been to the Astral Sea and back. We dealt with, you know, wanted posters and whatnot.
We? It's you!
Did we deal with them?
You should keep one if you haven't, by the way. Just because, like, that's...
Oh,
like,
yeah.
sick.
I
No,
put one in everybody's inventory because it occurred to me I forgot to. If you want to see it.
Wait, I'm gonna make collage art out of it. That's really exciting.
That's great, yeah.
Can I
I
autograph
will-
all of them?
I cannot. I
Okay.
will take first watch.
Happy to take second.
I'll take third.
Third. Fourth.
Fifth,
I get to
sixth,
sleep.
seventh.
All right. Sorry, I didn't write down what numbers anybody's doing, but first watch. Okay.
Me.
And then who did not claim watch? Because you can really join any watch you want, I guess. Okay. So Clax, whichever of these 4 watches you want to join, just hop in.
Probably the second one, just from a time, because timing. Which one would be evening? Third watch would be evening with where we're at.
Yeah, like third watch, fourth watch is when it's gonna be dark, starting to get dark.
Yeah, and I think Mouse and Flint did third, so I'll do fourth. with that was Drada, right?
I'm on second, but if you
You're on
want
second.
second, I can take
Nope,
fourth for
nope.
dark vision
I
purposes.
think Flint is
Fourth.
third, Mouse is fourth.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Then I'll just go with Mouse at fourth.
Okay. Aesop, Drada, Flint, Mouse, or something like that. Aesop, roll perception.
Did good.
Okay. What is Aesop doing during watch?
Aesop does not believe that it is just this shop that she, like, that is currently within this vicinity. It's not like I'm gonna poke Snoop. I'm more just gonna look around. Any nooks and crannies, any magical buttons of some sort. Just, Aesop does not believe that this is it.
Let me just roll something. Don't worry about it. Okay. So you're not. You're just. I think like your attention is, of course, is anything going to come in the front door? But as you feel settled, in the sense that any kind of traffic passing across the window, nobody's even trying to look inside. No customers are knocking. Nothing's going on that catches your attention. So you just sort of your attention drifts as the rest of your party starts to go to sleep, and you start to look at some of these fireflies that are sort of surrounding the vegetation in the room, and you start to sort of notice with the 24 that they tend to be coalescing around 4 different plants. Immediately, you don't know why. They're sort of like behind shrubbery that you'd have to like really peel behind to understand more about it. But that's just sort of something you notice at first.
Okay. Could you, do you have them marked on the map? Where they are? Like every corner?
So where these fireflies are, there's like these 4 plants that are...
Now, without touching, are they the same plant?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep a mental note, and if my shift's over and, nothing happens, I'll let the next shift lead know.
And I guess just because we're on this map, I'm not saying it's going to matter, but like, where are people sleeping? If you position your token based on like where you're trying to settle in, just in case, you never know. But you take note of the fireflies and you wake up second watch,
Which is...
So,
Strata, is that you?
Yeah. Perception?
Strata.
Hi, what?
You see, we're probably being watched, but besides the point, you see these, like, 4 plants that I'll, like, walk you around the room to show you? Why are all the fireflies congregating to them? I don't believe that it's just this room here. I don't know. If we need an escape plan, let's just note these plants.
Okay, that's interesting and helpful to know.
Okay. I don't got anything else. I didn't want to actually snoop because I didn't want to knock anything over.
Oh, I mean, I love starting a watch with a conspiracy theory. I think that's great.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go to bed. All right.
Okay, night.
All right. Move Drada out here, and Aesop, you can settle wherever you feel like. Roll me a perception check. You guys have such... I think everybody has high perception, and then Mouse has those glasses. What are you doing, Drada?
I think I'm looking for two things. The first is, trying to, get up close, being careful with the 4 plants that Aesop's identified to see if I recognize them from any ranger nature travelings. Alternatively, looking around and, given it's an herbalist shop, I'm curious, do any of these plants or herbs, have I seen them before, at home? I'm, just intrigued.
Sure. So just again asking how much pushing foliage away are you doing? Are you just trying to look at what you can perceive with the naked eye?
I'm willing to get very up close and personal, and I also I don't want to touch it. That feels like a bad idea.
Okay. I'll say, so once again, you're not getting the sense of whatever signage she's put up front. You seem to, nobody seems to be mistaking this business as being open, or it's the type of shop that just doesn't get that much attention to begin with. But as you just sort of try to lean in to some of these plants and sort of inspect them, but again, without touching, you get a sort of, you get a little bit of a whiff of vapor, not the vapor as in the drug, but there's a sort of mist that is emanating from within these plants. You sort of roll me a wisdom check. Big ol' one. There's something that's just sort of loosely familiar with it, but you're not sure from where. You don't feel that the mist is poisonous in any way, or has you sniffing it out. It doesn't. You don't get any sense from it. You're just not sure where you recognize it from.
Just to be sure, I'm not breathing. I mean, it's just a gentle waft, just to. But yeah, no breathing necessary. Incredible. I think the rest of watch then, Drada will relay that to the next person on watch, and communicate. There's mist from these 4 plants. It feels oddly familiar to me, but I don't know why. And also, I think the rest of the time, a lot happened in the astral sea of it all, and Drada's gonna take some time, reflect, maybe try to journal or redo some facial makeup artistry based on some of the things he saw. Just self-care practice after brain overload for a while.
You have plenty of time to do that. Or 2 hours at least. Well, what as you wake up, Flint, what does he see on your face then?
I think Flint sees on one cheekbone, I'm forgetting the name of the rays.
The cloakers.
The cloakers. A kind of abstract representation of one cloakers on each side of his cheeks with their maws facing Drada's mouth. One of them the kind form that we ended that battle with, and one of them the form that we started the battle with.
Hi.
Okay, so there's these plants here. Aesop noticed them. They're the ones in the corner. There's fireflies all around them. We haven't touched anything. They're emitting mist. Magical ? Feels familiar to me. I don't really know why. But feel free to investigate further. But don't die.
I mean, she said don't touch anything.
And none of us touched any. We haven't touched anything. If you touch them, don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
I wasn't planning on it. But now I feel like maybe I should.
All right. Well, roll perception if you would like.
Flax, correct me if I'm wrong. What shift did you say you were taking? I thought I heard 2 initially. 4, sorry.
No, 4. Yep.
All right, Flint. Any activities?
I think Flint would probably just like maybe plop down on this box over here. Oh, I can't do it on that box. It does not like it. That is an actual object. Would probably climb up on the top of this box and just sit down and kind of. I don't think Flint's like too worried about trying to investigate or snoop or anything. I think this is sort of a weird place for Flint. Like, this is a weird, like, we're in Flamebridge, but it's a very nature-heavy thing. And I think there's a lot of just reflection on how this could have been a life for Flint had he not left the woods when he did, or whatever. I don't know. And mostly just kind of chilling out and enjoying sort of being in this space as opposed to outside in the loud city. So
No poking around.
I don't think so. I think he was told not to touch the plants, and
All the people I expected just to touch the plants. All right. Mouse and Clax. You once again, no concerns that you spot.
I'll wake them up and be like, hey, John and Aesop are weird about the fireflies. You should probably not touch the plants. But
Oh, I definitely wasn't going to touch anything in here.
yeah, well, Mouse seems like the type that would like to touch some plants.
That is very true. I will keep an eye out. Mouse.
Generally speaking, plants that don't want to be touched tell you that.
I will trust your judgment on that, but I'm not touching anything. I'm just kind of really posting up by the front door. Just really trying to keep an eye out, because this is a time of night where I think if somebody was going to try and do something was shady going down, this where it'd be, so.
Okay. Well, you can both roll perception if you'd like. And then it's sort of, I know where Clax is looking, but Mouse, if you want to tell me where you're looking most as well.
I'm gonna say that's a sight. Which that's a pretty impressive roll. I was gonna say that realistically, Mouse just had a bit of a spiritual awakening, and might not be as in tune with the watch as she is intent on revisiting her star map and just studying with a new view on what stars are. So if I would have disadvantage because I'm mostly not focused on watching.
Well, you had disadvantage from exhaustion, but that balanced out with your eyes of minute seeing, I think so. So you're
that good.
You're tuned in. Yep. Yeah. Well, and I think so. Clax, actually, I did a little roll that figured out how to hide it. You actually do see a shape in the distance outside, and they rolled a natural one, so you get a quick glimpse and do just very briefly see that a individual with a jade mask had noted the building and then walked away.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything to Mouse at this time. I'll wait till we all get up, since we're going to be getting up, but thank you for that.
Yep. And Mouse, you think the nature, I think I had once described the astral sea as having more stars than you have on your star map. And I think this is just sort of like, I think with a natural 20, you're sort of doing your best to, like, well, I guess this is the question for you, is like, what are you trying to update your star map, or are you trying to, what are you trying to do?
I don't know that I think I would be making notes, but I think it's less about updating and more just having more information and a better understanding of the connection she had already explored.
Yeah, I think there's, in sort of digesting some of Olive's mentorship and in understanding that each plane has different stars, you sort of start to set out at least to, there were some stars that shone brighter than normal when you were in the astral plane, and you recognize that those might be anchors that connect the stars from different planes. So like registration marks per se, to help you understand how things overlap. And I think it's sort of through your study overnight that you realize that.
That's cool. I would also briefly look at the firefly plants just to see if I, with my plant inspiration, can figure out what's going on.
Is there anything go ahead and roll me a nature check? Sure, why not?
Yeah, I think more just if she's seen anything like this before, if the fireflies are behaving unnaturally.
I would say with an 11, the only you don't have that much insight, except that the way that they are moving sort of reflects a rhythm. And they're sort of like coming in and coming out and coming in and coming out a little bit. But you all wake up with a successful long rest, having not tripped anything. Not saying that there was something to trip, but there might have been. Mouse, you are no longer exhausted, which is a good thing.
Well, everybody, now that we're up, Flint, we had a Jade mask mark on the corner. Come over here to the window. Down there, over to the left-hand side of that kind of building down there with the facade, the brick facade there. Right over there. They're kind of marking the building and keeping an eye on it. So any movement we know, or any movement we make, they'll know we're on our way. That could be good or could be bad, but I think we've definitely been... They know where we're at.
Do you think we should burn this place to the ground?
No.
Okay.
So, wait, did you say a Jade mask mark?
Yeah, they marked the place.
Which mark?
Oh, are you talking from a pronoun standpoint?
I was more. It's
Or
okay.
noun?
It's
Name?
fine,
What's the name? What's the name?
okay,
Proper
we can
noun.
move on.
Proper noun. That's what it is.
Mhm. Okay.
Were you
Okay. The old
thinking of-
people are learning.
Were you thinking of Thieves' Cant stuff?
No, I was trying to make a mark joke.
Oh,
Yeah, and I ruined it.
totally went over my head too. I'm like, oh, he's talking about Thieves' Cant. Okay, work. Yeah, love.
The DM doesn't understand and is just going with it. But you saw a Jade mask take note of a building, and they, just to be clear, they didn't scratch anything into the building. They wrote down something.
Correct.
Well, while it's still dark out, do we think we should try and get to the Jade Mansion?
Now's as good a time as any.
Do I have a sense for like how far away we are from it?
I think you've never been there. Just to set that up, all of your whatever connections that you have had with the Jade Mask has always been kind of through a contact and through sort of past notes and whatnot. So you've never been here, and you weren't even necessarily aware that this place existed as well. The like you're just playing catch up on this, but you think that this may be something that was built after you left Flamebridge.
Okay.
But generally speaking, well, you know that you were sort of past a card, and when you sort of look at the card, there's sort of like a distinct silhouette of a building that you look on the skyline and sort of have a general sense of where to go.
All right. Well, do we think it's worth trying to like disguise ourselves, or are we more confident because it's dark out?
I mean,
Or-
I was just gonna, and then walks outside and vanishes.
Yeah, it
I
must be
think
nice.
at least you need a hood.
Well, I hate spending my spell slots, but I did prep disguise self today. That seems useful given the circumstances. So, I think perhaps I'll cast that.
Once we get close, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you think unimpeded that it will take you a little less than an hour to get there.
Okay.
Once we are close, I can cast Enhance Ability and give you a boost to your charisma if we think you're going to be doing some politicking.
Maybe? Drada, do you want to join the Jade Mask?
What a complicated question. And I think the answer is maybe someday, but while I'm traveling with a bunch of other people who don't need extra tie downs and things to get in our way, that feels unhelpful.
Okay. I'll cast Disguise Self and just try to, I don't know, look like a generic dwarf or something. Something that cannot be easily confused with Flint.
Okay.
Mhm.
As you all step out into the city, it is dark out. You haven't really, spent much time in Flamebridge altogether. It's been a chaotic 3 days, I think, since you first came here, and you haven't spent that much time out at night. However, this is sort of a city that where the engines of industry are sort of always burning in some corner of somewhere. And so as you're sort of stepping out, it is not a quiet night. There's still plenty of places that are open. There's plenty of forges that you're walking past that have, the sound of hammers hitting anvils and whatnot. And you do get the sense that although you are a little bit better able to fly under the radar at this time of night, that there still is sort of security throughout the streets. Clax, when you had sort of like first gotten the lay of the land here in town, you had sensed a number of guards that had that Flint had described as being the Ember Cloak soldiers, that have kind of crossbows, and that there's various turrets, and you see that they are constantly scanning the different streets here. You do Drada, roll me an insight check specifically. Drada, you expect sort of your magic or whatever we decided it was, your ability to go unnoticed in the dark. You expect it to work a certain way. You see that a number of these turrets, as they are scanning, some of them have lights literally shining out of them, and of course, if one crosses you, it spots you, and it's not happening in a way where like somebody's passing through you and is shocked, but there's a couple of them that don't have their lights on, and you see that they are tracking you nonetheless. Whatever is on these turrets seems to be able to see through or sense you outside of your ability to be invisible to them.
I don't like this fucking city.
Throughout the sort of skies here, you see a number of people flying overhead. There's a couple, they're like sort of pyromancers who are sort of, flying through some kind of propulsion that they have as spellcasters. And it seems that everybody is still on high alert. You don't know that this is specifically for Flint or if this is just business as usual, but nonetheless, the number of wanted signs could give you reason to believe that Flint is still being tracked. As you start to approach, or as you start to go in the direction towards the Jade Mansion, which sort of on the horizon, it has, it sort of is like a tall building that has, it's kind of like that, a little bit of like the Asian temple architecture where it has sort of like the triangular roofs that are sort of ornamental and layered in various ways. As you start to approach it and it comes into greater view, you notice that the lights are on. There are some kind of stage lighting, for lack of a better word, that is being projected up onto the side of this massive green building. It still is, I'd say probably like 1,000 feet away at this point. But is there anything your party does as you are closing in?
Black's just on high alert just to make sure that they're not walking into an ambush, since he knows the Jade Mask knows they're coming more than likely.
You want to
Same, I think.
perception?
Do you think?
And then, sorry, Jacob and Millie.
Really, go for it.
Oh, I was just casting enhanced ability on Flint.
I think I'm happy to join Clax and just being on high alert, and at some point, Greta will just whisper to Flint. Okay, so like the Jade Mask thing isn't out of. I just, maybe.
I mean, if it comes up, I'm just, if they're like, hey, do you guys want to put in applications?
Yeah. But other than that, scanning.
I will prep a dimension door spell and stand close to Dwarf Flint.
Okay. Draw to go ahead and roll perception as well. Okay. Clax, this is just sort of a situation that the dark vision of Drada helps a little bit more. You're on high alert for the things that are close by, but Drada's looking a little further out. But neither of you sort of observe any direct threats. One thing that sort of occurs to you is that the wanted posters are only for Flint, and as it seems as of right now, you guys aren't associated with him, despite what happened at the Smelted Mug, that nobody has really painted you as villains, and so you're feeling pretty comfortable. You're uncomfortable with the situation generally, but you're feeling that no eyes are falling on you. Nobody has sort of made that association yet. But as you approach the Jade Mansion, there is sort of a large vaulted opening. There's no door of any kind through this, and you sort of find the entrance to the mansion opening into this large sort of pavilion of sorts, exhibit of some kind going on. And as you sort of step in here, you find that although there are not, sorry, it's just a thing that I did not. I'm just going to move you guys to something, and then it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Okay. As you guys sort of step into this this sort of pavilion, you see that there is a sort of large group of people milling about, sort of whispering and admiring these large statues that are on display. It looks like, as you are stepping to this place, that the Jade Mansion almost has a bit of a museum quality to it. But whatever the occasion is, or if this is normal, you're not sure. But as you step in here, there's sort of like a sort of procession of various individuals who are walking through this space, looking at these statues, sort of mingling and chatter that echoes through this large hall that you're all in. The area is open to the public, it seems, as you see, as you sort of join a line of a number of other people who are stepping in here.
Let's make sure we stay together.
Do any of these people look like the typical Jade Mask members that we've seen, where like they have a mask on and stuff, or this all just seem to be regular people?
You see a bunch of regular people, but you also do see some Jade Mask attendants. There seems to be people who are walking about with smaller groups, seeming to sort of, you don't see what they're saying behind the mask, but you see them sort of using their arms to communicate or enunciate various things that they're saying as they talk about some of what is on display. I can't remember how to pull up the portraits that I haven't preloaded, but as I figured that out, you do sort of, there is a person wearing a Jade Mask who is sort of greeting people at the door. And so as you guys step in closer and a group before you is admitted in, they speak up and say, "Welcome to the Jade Mansion. Thank you for coming tonight. We should be open for at least a few more hours."
Is this a specific exhibit happening tonight?
It is an eve of celebration, perhaps.
Oh,
Is
celebrating something specific?
it is the Day of Earth, which, we honor where the stone comes from and show some of our proudest pieces.
Were these pieces? Who made these pieces, or just multiple people that you guys were able to collect from?
There are a number of artists that whose work is on display. We could arrange to have your group be walked through and shown some of this work if you would like to make a donation to our exhibits.
Maybe when we leave. I think right now we're just going to walk around. Thank you so much.
Very well. And you're just sort of let through without issue.
Can you remind me, where did I get the business card from?
You had been approached out of nowhere after you ran away from the smelted mug by a Jade Mask person.
I think perhaps then this person greeting us, I would maybe take that business card out and kind of flash it to them and say, we were sort of invited. Not sure if there's someone we should meet with outside of this grander celebration.
Do you have the name of anybody who I should call for?
A myth?
Amethy. Is
Amethy.
the name you're looking for.
Maybe? I don't think I got any other names, so I'll go with that.
If you stay here, I will find her. And then this person wanders off.
Are you gonna drop your disguise while you're in here?
Not yet. There's still a lot of people.
Fair. Fair.
Let's see if maybe we get, behind some closed doors or something.
Just in case you guys are curious, you've never heard the name Amethy before. Just to make sure you guys know that that's new information.
You said no more secrets. Liar, liar, liar.
Amethy was just like my contact with the Jade Mask before. I don't have any other
Oh, and I keep asking you about the before, and you're like, "There's nothing more to tell," and now we have contact names.
There's not.
The interrogation's heavy.
I'm sure we don't know every detail from you all's lives either. It's okay to not know everything. But who
this
is she?
fun to know.
She was just like the person that gave me my jobs when I was, still doing some work for them.
Did you leave on good terms?
I think so. I mean,
do you remember
Yeah.
last time you said that?
I mean, still unclear to me why exactly I was so easily arrested. Perhaps the Jade Mask was upset that I was trying to do a job on my own. I don't think that's true. But maybe. Last I knew, though, we were on good terms. And then I got arrested.
In the moment of everybody staring down at you, two individuals approach, looking strikingly similar to each other, but one of them looks towards the dwarf Flint and says, "You can remove your mask."
I'll drop this guy's self.
Come with me. And she'll sort of wander towards one of the statues. As you guys, I assume, follow.
Absolutely.
A sort of feminine voice behind this mask says to all of you, but sort of standing most closest to Flint, says, "It was unclear if you would actually come back. I am glad you accepted our invitation."
And all the wanted posters out around most of the rest of the city. Not a lot of friendly places.
Would you like the tour? It's your first time here, I believe.
Sure. I'll take a tour.
Anything you all are most interested in? And she sort of looks, you look on the different corners of this room, and you see there's this one giant statue that sort of is the kind of the centerpiece of this pavilion, that just sort of seems like a large jade sculpture of sort of more rocky in ways and less detailed, of a humanoid figure, perhaps. You see there's sort of this other exhibit that has a lot of smaller figurines that are sort of looking like animals and plants and whatnot. There's this large anvil far in one of the corners. There's a large serpent that is sort of coiled up on itself. And then there's this sort of side room that you see. There's like a large group that is huddled around a sort of like mask that is on display. And lastly, there's this sort of shifting pillar, which almost looks like a structural column, but as you sort of look at it, it seems to be morphing, like jagged rocks that are always sort of trying to settle into a new position.
Ooh, let's do that.
Just because everything else seems to end up more connected than I would expect. Do you happen to have, seeing as it is Earth Day, or Day of the Earth, do you happen to have any statues or history or whatever related to the gravel maker?
She go ahead and roll persuasion check.
I have advantage on those.
You do.
Can I in response regardless of what it is?
Sorry, you cut out. Say it again.
Sorry, can I insight her response regardless of what it is?
You can roll with disadvantage because the mask makes it hard to read.
Good call.
You just roll it again.
Ooh, much better.
Amity sort of looks down at you and says, "It is not a name that, well, is proudly shown. We don't have any workings that have been shared with us, so I am familiar, semi-familiar with the name, but it is not the type of thing we would show on a day of celebration."
That makes sense.
Fair.
And with the inside of 17, it sounds honest, you think?
In that case, do you have any favorites?
That's what I was gonna ask.
She considers for a moment and says, "Perhaps a favorite that you would be most interested in," and she sort of takes you towards the anvil. And you sort of see it. So you don't really know if it's like on the nose. You don't know what their deal is, but most of the things that you see in here are jade, of course, which you know to be a sort of transmutation reagent for spellcraft, as well as whatever purpose they have with it. But you see, and she sort of shares with you that this is the transmuter's anvil. This is said to be where an ancient mage smith had once crafted the first of the jade golems that have been used in the service of the Jade Mask for some time.
Can
Make
I
it-
ask a really stupid question? Sorry. Why Jade?
It is creation, transformation. It is what we all experience in life. It is beautiful.
That I would agree with.
And it has some significance to our work and our history, we'll say.
Well, wish I could say I knew a little bit of that history, but maybe on this tour I will. Appreciated.
So why are you here?
Hoping you all might be able to, or we might be able to arrange something with you to help me either clear this bounty or at least get me out of the city.
You're here for a favor.
Or a deal or something. I happy for that to just be information and we deal with all the hard parts if there's an easy way out that y'all are aware of. Or
she sort of I think her eyes say it behind the mask of there's just sort of is like a blank stare of that she's trying to communicate with just her eyes that it's not as easy as you think.
yep.
Is there anything you need doing or help we can provide that would be a fair trade for passage out?
Perhaps.
I have a chimera egg.
She raises an eyebrow.
He also has a stunning personality.
True.
We don't tend to trade in that fashion. A favor for a favor is generally the deal.
Well, are there any favors that you currently need yourself?
Tell me, how was Storm's End in your time there?
Not great. I mostly just did a lot of work.
She at this point you're walking across some of the other exhibits. She's sort of not interested in giving you the proper tour at this point, but you are walking from thing to thing. So if you ever want to ask about those objects I shared, feel free to interject. But right now this is just sort of like a walk and talk as she's interrogating Flint.
Can I also listen in to, like, if anything, if she's dropping anything in Thieves' Cant as she goes?
Sure. Give me an insight check. But Flint, please continue.
I mean, I don't think there's that much more to say. It was very, it's a military encampment, and I was mostly just doing work and things. I'm happy to tell you whatever details about it you want. Could sketch the layout, I suppose, probably.
That would be useful, perhaps. Do you know of any weaknesses?
Do I know of any weaknesses?
Uh,
I was there a long time. I mean, I assume if I knew of a way in or out or structural problems or something.
Roll me a history check, and then as you're rolling, I don't. Of course, the rest of the party has no idea what you're talking about, but this is all being said audibly enough for you guys to be like, "What the hell?"
Gonna kind of nudge Strata. Just remember, no more secrets, right?
That's going really well for everyone.
It was such a good bonus to history too. Well, not that great. It was very inaccessible. You had to take an airship to somewhere close by, and then, if I remember right, you had to trek in, I think.
Right.
But I know where it is on a map, and I know the rough layout. And they're assholes.
Right now, Drada, you're not picking up any. This is all being spoken a little bit out in the open right now.
What's your interest in Storm's End?
It's why we sent you there. We were hoping for some inside information.
You sent me there?
Well, it was the only choice we had to disassociate your actions with Lord Pyre. We didn't want it to appear as if somebody we were associated with would act to steal from the one person that we are not to steal from. And so it seemed to be the right decision to talk to the unifiers and have you taken away in the hopes that you would come back here.
You stole from Lord Pyre?
I tried to steal from Lord Pyre.
That somehow makes it worse. Hi, so sorry to butt in. If you don't mind my asking, what interest does the Jade Mask have in infiltrating, taking down Storm's End?
That would be a question for our leader. It's not my place to speak of such things.
If that is
Understood.
your interest, I think there's probably strong interest from us and some others to do the same.
I wouldn't mind seeing a sunset there one last time.
She says, well, perhaps you should speak to the Jade Mask then. She'll walk up to sort of that pillar that has sort of cracks in it that have been ever moving. And she sort of looks to your party and says, if you can find him, he will be waiting for you. And she leaves. She walks away, leaving you at that pillar.
How big are these cracks that are in
It's
it?
it's sort of like I'm trying to find a way to describe it. It's like layers of shale, like that continue to sort of like crack and reform. So the cracks are sort of all around it. But if you want to go ahead and just sort of inspect this, then you may.
Question. I don't remember what Storm's End was. What have we talked about it before? Am I just mind blanking on it?
I feel like it's been mentioned. I don't know if by name explicitly.
I think it
Was
might have
this
been a
the place-
conversation between Drada and Flint, perhaps.
Yeah, I think I know what I'm talking about.
I still speak up and say it. Okay, Flint. What's
It's those
this
guys
whole
that
place?
It's the guys that I like worked for making weapons and stuff. It's their like base fort thing.
Their whole shtick is wishing I wasn't here, or people,
Oh, okay.
anyone like me wasn't here.
Right. And out of all that time, Flint, you were supposedly there, you couldn't remember anything.
He was very busy.
All right. Okay.
Clax, anything you're sort of doing as you're just observing the party?
Yeah, the biggest thing Clack's doing is really, because he doesn't understand all the history, doesn't understand what's going on with this moving pillar, column, cracking slate, all that stuff, is really just, we're in an organization that doesn't have the best of reputations.
Mhm.
Keeping an eye out for anything that might be untowards. Like, I fully expect eyes on us at all times, but I'm looking to see if there's anything overt, right? Like, if I see somebody just looking, that's fine, but if I see, like, 3 bodies starting to get a little bit closer, or a group of people starting to move towards us, or anything along those lines, just really trying to keep my eye out to see if there's any kind of sting operation going on. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check if you would like.
Absolutely.
And then what is anybody else helping or looking out for similar things, or what are folks doing as Flint is inspecting this?
If this is a exhibit piece, is there a plaque that has the name of it?
No. It doesn't actually look like an exhibit piece. You guys are the only people standing in front of this as she left you there.
But okay, never mind.
Guess I'm looking for, like, in the shifting of the rock, if there are any patterns that emerge.
Roll me something appropriate for that.
Sure, cool.
It's perception for everything.
Yeah.
Clax, what I'll say for you is I think what you notice is the absence in this area. You're sort of it's like one of those weird situations where a low roll kind of helps, is that whereas you've been really looking for eyes on you, what you notice here of all the places that you've been left is that there are no eyes on you, or not that there's no eyes on you, but there's no bodies around. Like, you've almost been left in a place that's out of sight, and you're not, and to that end, you're not sure why or what could have eyes on you behind, like, around the corners. But whereas there's sort of this sea of people outside looking at things, you've been kind of left in a bit of a corner, but a corner where you seem to have some privacy.
Hey guys, whatever this riddle is that we're supposed to figure out, I think it's not. They're not worried about us being here. I don't know how else to phrase that.
I thought this was like a crime organization.
They are. I'm a former city guard, so I just don't think this is a good fit.
Yeah, could you try and look like less of a narc while you're here?
Hi, Flint. My name's Clax. Pleasure to meet you.
Just saying.
Uh,
Kind of more thug and less like.
Yeah, your shoulders are raised like pretty high.
Like, are you, like, constantly tense?
Yes.
Oh,
That
that
sounds-
must be so bad for your back and your shoulder. You need a massage. In next city we go to, you need a massage.
Why
I
did
feel
we end
like-
up on a massage? We have a pillar. We don't know what to do. There's no guards around. I feel very uneasy about this. And we're on massages?
Yeah.
Well, because you feel uneasy, so we're on massages.
Drada and Flint, you both sort of, in inspecting this pillar, Flint, you sort of get a, I'd say without even needing detect magic, you get the sense that there is an incomplete spell here. As you sort of look at the cracks trying to form and reform, you observe that there are runes that are woven into this pillar that are being connected and disconnected, like a sort of like a shifting puzzle that it hasn't, or like a connect the dots, or something that hasn't made the connection in order to enable this spell. There's something at work here that seems to be waiting to be connected. And Drada, as you're sort of not looking at it from the magical angle, but just trying to like suss out what these cracks are and whatnot, you see that there's a section underneath the pillar that the sort of marble flooring has been scratched, as if something has moved against this regularly.
If you look right there, there's, like, scuffs in the marble. Maybe door? Question mark.
I mean, I'll start real basic, and both because it sort of sounds like a good spell to cast on it, and also it's transmutation. I'll just start with mending. I know it's only a cantrip, but see if giving it some transmutation magic seems to do anything.
It resonates with the magic, but you come to understand that it is expecting more. Like mending, you mend sort of like one of the cracks in this, and then it recracks again as it's just constantly shifting. So you know that is, you know that you're on to the right solution. You just need to put more energy into it.
Guys, I could shatter it.
Maybe not that.
Okay. That's an idea.
I like it, but also I'm pretty sure Shatter's real loud.
It sure is.
What do I have that's transmutation?
Does it tell you when you right click on a spell what school of magic? Yes, it does. Okay, I'm just dumb. Never mind.
Or if you just mouse over it, there should be like a tooltip that shows up.
Oh, shatter isn't even transmutation. Oh, that's fair. I don't know if I have any transmutation stuff, to be honest.
I have one spell. It's rope trick time, everybody. If anyone has a better spell, transmutation spell, please.
I don't. That's not what I deal with. Do with mind stuff.
I would prefer to not burn one of my third levels on it. I could try heat metal. Heat metal's a transmutation. Is any part of this thing metal?
Absolutely not. But this I would say you've worked with, like, throughout this campaign, you've worked with several devices like this as well. It's sort of you're able to suss out through the mending spell that it's something that's just trying to absorb spell slots, but of a transmutation variety. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check, Flint.
Sure.
Yeah, with a 19, you are positive that a level 2 spell would open this up.
Fair.
If you
Got it.
I have spike growth.
Is that transmutation?
Yeah. I also have stone shape, which I was gonna cast because it feels really appropriate, but also that's 4th level, and you just confirmed that.
I think yeah.
you have more spell slots than I. Please.
Yeah. Try a spike growth on it. I think it'll work.
Do I need to target anything or just cast it?
You can even just check off the spell slot in this instance, lest you be prompted to spike growth your friends.
That's fair.
I actually really have to use the bathroom, so we're going to use this as the break point and then come back and figure out what happens. BRB. Alrighty, well, you, looking at this shifting pillar mouse, you put your hand on the moving stone and release the spike growth spell. You don't lose concentration on enhance ability. You still have that, but the shifting stones start to take on the shape of some of those spikes before they eventually sort of recede in and become smooth. And as you do so, you notice that a section of now smooth stone starts to slide inwards, kind of like on a rotation, scratching the marble below as you find a stairway appear that goes down. And it's sort of in this moment as well that Clax, you sort of realize that in the way you were looking out earlier, that the way that this sort of opening appears was perhaps intentionally placed to make it so folks heading in through this passage would not see the passage as it opens. It is very much kept secluded from the grander external part of this museum. Do you all go down the stairs?
We have a choice.
I don't see why not.
Go
All right.
meet the Jade Mass.
Do you guys want me to go first, or do you want me to be in the rear?
We'll be in the back with you.
All right. Hang out towards the back.
I guess maybe Drada and I are up front?
I was gonna suggest the same.
I imagine this stairwell wasn't made for larger people like us, Clack, so I imagine we kind of have to just kind of duck our way through a little bit, make our way.
It's a little cramped. It's not that bad. It's not made for halflings, but you know, you're used to it. This is most
true.
houses. Most houses are just a little too small for you. You all go down this stairway, and it continues deeper and deeper as it spirals down beneath the surface, and you hear the sound of stone scratching from above you as you as any light pouring in from the larger museum seems to be dimmed as you find yourself now in a dark stairway without any immediate source of light. As you start to wander down, you see a sort of green light that is shimmering from down below, and as you exit the stairway, you find yourselves in an immense sort of building of some kind, underground building. And as I bring you to this other scene, I will say that your little miniatures are to scale with this massive door that you find yourself in front of.
Oh, damn.
Think amongst yourself.
Nope. I take it was be right back.
I'm guessing that's what that was.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's okay.
Probably. Looked to me like a knock was at the door or something.
Sorry about that. I also just banged my knee. It sucks.
Oh,
It sucks.
we saw, so everything okay though? Everything good? right.
Anyway, you guys appear in this space with these two large green torches that seem to be ever burning on this wall. You see just sort of the lightly illuminating this huge stone door, and there are several statues that flank it.
Are they the same statue on both the left and right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess we go to the door and knock. Just if we start moving or when we start moving, do the statues appear to be just stone? Like no, like paranoid, no eyes that are going to shoot warp fire at us or anything like that. Like as best I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and give me a perception or we'll say investigation or perception.
Don't matter. It's the same bonus on either one.
Yeah, I mean, they're Jade. Okay. Go figure. But you're not a stonemason. It's hard to get much out of the features.
Okay.
If I look at one and then look away from it and then look back, has it moved?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'll approach the door.
As you approach it, sort of as you're sort of at the base of it, you see that there are a number of levers that are against one of these like stone sections that are not connected to the door. You can go ahead and click on the door as if you're trying to open it.
Oh, that's awesome.
You see this inscription that I believe I actually can't see it with my view right now.
The sky wears a gem of darkest jade, hidden from those who seek its shade.
And you see these levers that are sort of showing these 5 red circles. I'm encouraging all of you to click on this, but I'm encouraging one of you to take lead in manipulating it because I don't know how this mod works.
We have 4 attempts.
Yep. So this.
Would we have gotten a key? It seems like a riddle. Do we have the answer?
I think it might be in this room. I'll go inspect. Oh gosh, the statue on the left.
I'm happy to take statue on the right, and I'm also happy to walk up statue on the right and get up close and personal to see if we're missing anything.
I cannot do that, so I will just stay on the ground.
Okay. Both of you can roll investigation on these individual statues. And then just so that we're assigning somebody who wants to be the person to manipulate the controls.
I vote Flint.
I agree.
Okay, so you guys can have the window open, but just let Flint manipulate it.
Yep.
So, I don't think it's related, but that business card, it's hard to see because it is a very tiny picture, but does have a number of like circles. There's more than 5 though, going across it. Let me link this again.
I think I can magnify it. Give me 1 second.
I don't think they're related. But
It's a really pretty card.
it is.
Oh, sorry.
But like-
Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay.
Has a bunch of
Moon phases?
I was gonna say it's moon phases, and are those planets? Maybe? I'm not sure.
I'll tell you,
So-
just as you are all looking at that, regarding the rolls on these statues. As you, and you both rolled pretty similar, I would say this is going for both of you. As you investigate them, you do sort of, towards Clax's earlier concern, you do note that there are kind of, lines that are going like through the elbows and through the shoulders and whatnot that sort of give you the impression that these statues have pivot points where they could move, kind of like a figurine that can be posed in a way. That is the most impression you get from them with the rolls that you made.
Y'all,
So,
these statues
Golem?
can move.
Golem time. Clax. Yeah?
So, I imagine Flint has the card out for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, Flint, all of them have 5 spots on them. Every last one of them, going along with the different phases of the moon. And the riddle talked about being the shade. So, it would be the 5th one from the left, green, red, green, green, red. So, you would have, like, I'm assuming green's up. So, green, up, down, up, up, down. Just throwing an idea out there. Or if you feel the shade would be because the moon's not covered, then it would be the first one. But I think it's either the 1st or 5th phase of the moon, depending on how you interpret the riddle. Again, I'm just big dumb dragonborn who likes to punch things, but
Yeah. No, I think
Great start.
you're right.
Not that I'm also again. Clax and I are the smart ones here. Clearly, that's what we're known for. But Gem of Darkest Jade makes me think New Moon.
Is New Moon 1st or 5th?
New Moon is 5th. Darkest, like that's
New moon is no moon is showing.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And
so-
I'm going to say, for Gerada's sake, roll me a intelligence check. Random thing.
Oh, great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think Drada's saying this, but it's like, okay, so like there's like circles, and the circles are like it's like the sky, but like the moon and like so like they're like connected and 5. Number 5.
5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5. Yes.
We got there. We got there.
All right. So 1, 3, 4. I close this pop-up. There we go. 1, 3, 4.
Oh, they do turn green.
yeah, that's awesome. That's a neat mod.
All right.
And then when you want to guess, there's a button on the right that sort of says guess this or something.
It should be the
unlock.
yeah.
I don't see the button.
It's the lock
To the
button.
left of the chat, but to the right of the pop-up.
Oh.
There you go.
I unlocked it. Look at us being smart and solving a puzzle.
Oh,
But he hasn't said the golems haven't come to life yet, so.
Clax had his Inspector Clax moment from back in the other city where you talked about getting you a trench coat. You input this sort of you pull these levers and quickly decipher that the new moon is the correct moon, and the doors start to swing open. That was a little bit faster than I expected because I wasn't sure you would actually look at the card.
I was like looking at it and I was like, hang on, I think that card is related. And I wouldn't have been able to see, I looked at it in the chat and didn't initially blow it up. And so I couldn't see that bottom red dot. So I thought the number of dots each thing had was random.
It opens up into this large stairway leading down, and you all find, sort of walking forward, find yourself in this space where, depending on your dark vision or lack of, you may see more than others, but you see that there's two.
I hear you.
Am I the only one?
Sorry. I know what causes that, but it's dumb. As you're walking down to this space, you see depending on your level of dark vision, you see more than others, but all of you sort of immediately see these two sort of green torches that sort of serve as the landing into this kind of like dank, wet cavern. You sort of see this stone that is surrounded by a sort of small moat of water, and then it just has a feeling of wet down here as there's various drips coming from the ceiling. You are certainly deep underground in what seems to be a natural cavern.
Okay, unimportant, but canonical that Trot is a mushroom guy. Are there any mushrooms?
No.
That's deeply upsetting, but this is still delightful.
Are you a mushroom guy?
Yeah, we made bread with mushroom yeast
Oh,
that
I
one time a
remember
long
that.
time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm happy to start looking around. This is the coolest and most comfortable I've felt the entire time we've been in Flamebridge.
And I believe I'm the only one without dark vision.
I don't think I have dark vision either.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
okay.
I think it might just be Drata and I. That can
Okay.
see.
So I'm kind of deferring to the people who can see further.
I could summon dancing lights to keep light around us.
For those who can't see, dead ahead looks to be a passageway with multiple doors.
Okay.
I think I've also given all three of you little like flashlight stones or whatnot. So
Well, you didn't take those back when we kind of did the realignment of stuff.
Yeah,
the little flashlight stones, I think I can just like those aren't tied to my infusions.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah. We'd sort of determined that it takes we scrapped the headbands to make it free for everybody, so you would have to hold those in your hand if you needed to.
It also looks like, if it's helpful, there might. I think just looking at the map, it looks like there's maybe more torches or torchlight options ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
all around.
With your dark vision, you see that there are a number of unlit torches in this space.
Yeah, so I'm happy to go. I don't know if it's a green light specifically, but
I'll
light
grab a
torches.
torch and light a torch.
All suit.
How do I give somebody light? Or Draught, are you just lighting these torches as you walk forward? Is that what you're saying? Or
I think that's what we are saying.
okay.
Collect is that as people walk forward, they are grabbing torches and using them to light other torches in the space.
Okay.
I would love to stay ahead of the group in darkness or behind the group in darkness, but light the space up.
I vote for head.
Yeah, I'll light torches as you get close to them. But as you're approaching this section down here, there's sort of a small stairway that's leading up to a larger door, and those with their dark vision see another door similar to it here. This is sort of a transition point, you notice, where it turns from less of a natural cavern into something that is a dark stone construction, something that has been built down here. I say, Draught, also just give me, as you're leading the group, give me a perception check.
I think I might need to read.
Draught, can you...
I rolled. I think I'm really laggy, but I rolled a 26.
Okay.
I'm also experiencing some lag.
Yeah. I was just reloading just because I thought it was me.
No, yeah.
Interesting. I have this lag as well, and I don't know why. I'll see what I can do. But as you roll 26, you start to, as you're walking through this space, you think this is the thieves' den. Like everything else above was the facade that where sort of like the legitimate business front-facing part takes place. But as you're looking down here, you're starting to see that there are some like tables and chairs that are sort of pushed into corners. Like it seems to be that they've that nothing is set up right now, but that this is a potentially like a guild hall that that when they need to host things down here, they have the ability to kind of like set things up for more secret meetings. But that is what you pick up from here. And I would say with that roll, you're also reasonably certain that nothing down here is trapped as well.
Incredible. And also, just checking either on that roll or I'm happy to walk over the like all the lamps kind of in the like pond area around where we came in. Like there's nothing there. I would love to just do a full lap and make sure not missing any.
Yeah, I'll just turn on all the lights as you inspect this place and light the way for your friends.
Well, looks like we have 2 doors.
Think they would go to the same place?
That seems not fun enough or secure enough if we're in a thieves' den.
What?
There's lag you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I am trying to suss out what that could be.
Oh, now it looks like it all caught up. Oh, nope.
Unfortunately, I think it has to do with the way I built this map, but unfortunately, I don't think I can change it on a whim. So we might just be forced to deal with it.
Yeah, we'll
I
make
think as
through.
long as you move with the arrow key is like you'll get there eventually.
Clicking and dragging for me and moving has been lag-free almost, if that's helpful.
Really? Okay. Well, you guys want to start with the door on the right or the left?
Right and left as we're looking at it, or right and left as we're looking at the map?
Can we listen at them?
Sure. You would like to roll a perception check?
Mouse, do you want to take this first door and I'll take the second?
Sure.
Mouse is oh my god.
Oh my.
Wait,
Okay.
Yes, good listeners.
You're so attentive. Active listening.
Beyond this door, both of these doors, you both hear the same thing, which is the sound of like a chisel hitting stone.
Sounds like a chisel hitting stone.
Sounds like a chisel hitting Oh. Okay.
Maybe they do go to the same place. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Let's do
Pick a
your
door, any door?
Let's do your door, Mouse.
Do it. But not me. Somebody else do it.
Drada?
Okay.
Okay. You push open the door, I assume.
Yes.
And you see a sort of large expansive opening. And you see what looks to be a green dragonborn at the end of the room chiseling away at some statues that are beneath it. As you sort of just like get an immediate sense of this room, it's almost like a terracotta army situation. Is that there are and you see all these statues that are on like a within this area and this area and this area and the other corners, that is like 5 feet down. So as you step out onto this area, you're sort of like on a slightly raised platform looking down at all of these sort of statues that are beneath you. And they're just sort of like countless of them, although you could count them if you really wanted to. And from this, you also see in the 4 corners of the room, there are these sort of prisms that have that jade coloration, but also seem to be glass-like in a way. There's something a little foreign to you. And as you open the door and enter this room, You can spill out into this area if you want, but you do get the attention of this dragonborn who turns around and says, I believe this is our first time formally meeting, but you've done business with us before, sort of staring straight at Flint.
Yeah. Are you the Jade Mask?
That is my title, yes. More formally than others.
Fair. Well, pleasure to meet you.
You guys can move into the room laggily if you would like. He sort of looks at you and says, I'm told that you need a favor.
Told? How did they... We came straight here. Yes. Yeah, I've run into a bit of trouble with the law, it seems. And,
You do have a habit of that.
I mean, I think it's all just related to the one time. And I just shouldn't have come back to town, it seems. But I thought those were past me. But yes, I'm looking for a good way out of town. But Amethy also sort of made it seem like perhaps we have some similar interests specific to Storm's End.
She made it sound like you didn't know much.
I don't remember a ton about weaknesses of the fort.
What do you know is perhaps the question. We'll consider this the first part of the favor. And you see he's sort of like, he is glaring at you in a way that is trying to perceive how truthful you are. There's sort of like an intensity that you get the sense that lying to him would be difficult.
Fair. I mean, for starters, I'm happy to draw you up a map and as much of a sketch of the layout of the place as I can. I could probably give you an inventory of all of the items that I made them.
Such as?
I mean, they had me crafting weapons and armor and stuff most of the time I was there, so...
What kinds?
Magical kinds? I think mostly pretty generic things, you know, like +1 type things and stuff, but I don't know, I guess out of character, I don't know how many like very special and unique items I was crafting.
Yeah. Just go and roll me a history check.
Try this again.
Like you're not wrong that it was pretty simple, but there are still some things that I would share.
Fair. I'll give myself a +5 to that too.
Okay.
For those.
I would say that from as you're just sort of like piecing together maybe what this individual's interest is in this, it sort of does dawn on you a little bit that Jade was used in a lot of these things that you were making, and that as a transmutation, as it has transmutation properties, Jade is often used to as a precursor to something else. So it sort of is like to make a +1 something might be step 1 in creating something greater. You know that of the things you crafted, it was a lot of like ammunition as well, because they did like a lot of crossbow stuff. But I don't think that you got into anything more intense than that.
Fair. I'll convey all of that.
He sort of just nods, believing you, of course, and sort of looks at the rest of the party and says, you all probably... You all look a little confused.
Very much so.
What
Pretty
is your,
Jade, though.
what is your business with Flint?
He's one of our party. He's our friend.
We are the Left Stars.
Hmm.
And I may add, I'm a fair bit interested about what's happening at Storm's End myself.
Is that so?
Yes, in the sense that I wouldn't be opposed to ceasing what's happening at Storm's End sooner rather than later.
Hmm. It's a dangerous thing to do. You would be walking into a literal army.
It's walking into a literal army or waiting to be shot down just for existing another day.
But nonetheless, if you do not wish for your effort to be futile, would you not need something other than yourself? What?
I happen to see a whole lot of terracotta people around me, or not terracotta, jade people around me, and a whole lot of resources.
It is not a war that I crave.
What do you
There's-
Without question.
Storm's End was built on a very prosperous jade mine. And I don't mean that in the riches sense. We have our ability to source materials from many places, but it was built upon an important earth temple, we'll say. There are things down there that I would like to retrieve.
I'm sorry that you've been barred access from them.
Now, the nature, he sort of like acknowledges what you said, Rod. He's not ignoring you, but he says the nature of acquiring what I seek, it is not easily done, of course, and it is not something that we necessarily have the resources to do. So I've waited for some time for them to find what I'm looking for, because they don't seem to have found it yet. And then maybe we'd be able to take it from them later. The problem I have with this is that to operate the way we do requires incredible discretion and allies, and it seems that it's... I suppose I question who your allies are.
I have some.
Have some as well.
Enough to take down Storm's End.
Not alone, but with enough support and a concerted effort, maybe.
I mean, are there concerns about how tightly connected the Dawnbringers might be to Ventus himself? Like, doesn't seem like this is just some rogue organization.
I'm not sure what you want me to do with that.
Basically, I think I think messing with the Dawnbringers, I would expect to be something you want to be very sure you want to do. And
Yes.
expect that to be the start of something, not the end of something.
And therein lies the question about what is the favor that you can offer. I seek something that would be my birthright down in the Jade mines. But I do not wish to start a war to get it. A war that I'm not sure we would win.
So you're looking for discretion to get something from the Jade mines back up, but you need an outside source to do it so that you aren't linked back to it.
Precisely.
Okay.
And
I look
if
at-
they happen to, if he sort of looks at Drada and says, and if Storm's End happens to crumple along the way, should you muster the allies needed to do so, I would have no problem with that, but the discretion is that we are not connected to it.
Understood.
And Jody, you know your folks. How eager are they for a pretty large scale fight?
I know Drada's answer. I don't know what I guess as a player, I'm curious just how large of an organization.
I would say the population of able-bodied people that you think your people could muster would probably be in the between 50 and 100, but those people are pretty strong.
I'm not saying we could flood fields with an army, but I am saying if planned properly and planned well, a strike force could absolutely be assembled.
I had notes somewhere about this. When I was last there, which has been a few years, so they've probably grown. But when I was last there, they had maybe 40 people, but they were trying to grow. So my notes do say that the fort could probably hold hundreds, 1,000 if it made use of the land around it. But they were certainly not the last time I was there.
So, from a negotiation standpoint, because this is not my strong suit, if I wanted to say I want more than just getting us out of the city as payment for this, would the Jade Mask, maybe not directly, but with their resources, be willing to help us with a different issue? If we were to make this, if we were to get you the stuff you wanted from your birthright, and if whatever happens to the fort, would you be willing to help us with more than just getting out of the city?
He sort of cocks his head at you and says, well, I suppose that depends. But I'm always open to a deal.
Problem is, I don't know how to frame the deal. And I'm going to kind of turn and look at Mouse at this point and be like stars, celestial, help, bodies.
Oh, that's where you want help? I thought you were going a different direction.
Oh no! I'm going to take care of the other thing. That's a done deal.
Yeah, I hadn't considered help for her. I just assumed that was outside of their realm of. I wasn't sure how that they would be able to help with that issue.
You think it's something we can? I guess I'll turn back to the Jade Mask. Can we leave it as an open-ended favor to call in at another date?
Let's say this. If you... I would not be an honest person if I used my network to let you leave the city in a very simple way and then ask you to raid and destroy or buy or sneak into a fortress. These are not equivalent.
Fair enough.
That said, promises mean something to me. And if I let you out, then I want to know that you will make an effort to fulfill your end of the bargain. And if you are successful, then I will owe you a favor.
I will turn and look at Flint.
Trying to decide where I think this falls in our backlog. And priority lists.
It is not something I need tomorrow. I've been waiting for some time to find an opportunity. You are not the first agents I will have sent.
I think that is true. You can rest assured that at least Drada and myself are very motivated to rid the lands of that horde. And it is something, I think, as opposed to just our normal to-do list, we are motivated in our own rights to do. And would happily, I think, make that deal. But we
And you
do
believe yourselves capable of it?
Nothing stop us yet.
This group is highly capable.
If you don't mind us asking, maybe having some context as to this birth rate that you have with the Jade Mine. Is there a specific artifact that we're looking for? Does it have some connection with you?
Roll persuasion check.
Hmm.
The Aesop special.
A million.
He sort of looks down at you, not down at you, looking up at you because you're tall. And he says, "We have a replica upstairs, but what I am looking for is looking at notes. The Mask of Ard. It is one of an ancient earthen artifact that my ancestors have controlled it in the past. I seek to reclaim it. It had been stored in the tomb of my grandfather. But then when Storm's End was built atop it, there was no way to pay tribute. So I wish to relocate it.
So when he says, like, kind of birthright and all that. Do I get the sense that it's a Dragonborn related thing? Is it something I should have some semblance or understanding of, or is it more related to his family directly?
Roll me history with advantage as you get into Dragonborn stuff.
Let's see, there's the history. Yeah, definitely need the. I don't want the tactical assessment, and then now. Oh, I did it wrong. Okay, sorry. I'll just roll again.
You're good.
Yep, great rolls. Great rolls.
Clax did not pay attention in Dragonborn school.
Nope.
Does this have magical properties, or is it just sentimental?
It does. It is one of 4 elemental headbands. It is the one who wears it has the power to shape Earth as it is known.
That's a pretty big deal, isn't it? Kind of look over at the spell people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is important for me to find it because I worry that these are sort of like, after the high persuasion roll from Aesop, he's sort of like assessing how much to talk to the team and says, well, certain nobles will trade in priceless heirlooms of similar value to gain favor with the king. This is one of the reasons Lord Pyre has such dominance over the city, as he traded the Ember Circlet to King Ventus some time ago.
Oh, Mastercard Ember Circlet.
As a player talking to other players, I'll just casually bring up, should we mention the Earth tomb that we were in previously? And
Yeah, I was trying to decide how much of that and the gravel maker and more Merodak and whatnot and all that kind of stuff to bring up.
to make sure that we're, on the uppity up side of doing the right thing.
I also mentioned players to players as you're hearing about these artifacts that you draw to understand that there's a ruby crown that controls air back that you are familiar with as well.
But one would then presume just draw to start putting the pieces together. There's probably an artifact that controls fire and an artifact that controls water.
Well, we know about the fire one because Lord
Ember.
Fire
Yes.
gave it away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what Drada would maybe put together is like, well, why? So I'm trying to not give away too much meta knowledge, but we play infrequently enough that I feel like it's worth sharing notes. But so
There's like cultural ownership at stake here in an interesting way.
what I was going to mention is that so a while ago, Aesop was given the quest to find the Great Sky Dragon, which you connected to being the Circlet, and that quest was given by the king. So now you know that King is after 2, if not more, of these
Right.
instruments.
So let's commit treason. Let's go.
Well, what happens if you get all 4 of these things? You turn into, the Avatar? Is that?
Yeah, you go bald and an arrow appears on your forehead. And then,
Sathric speaks up, and he's introduced himself at some point, but he just sort of speaks up and says, I just care to reclaim mine.
That's fine. I think as long
I can
as
understand.
you're pretty committed to not giving yours to the king, I'm pretty okay with that.
My plan up until this point has been to wait for the Dawnbringers to find it and for us to steal it from the king, but,
Seems dangerous.
well,
that's where we come in.
So you find yourselves, you believe yourselves to be capable enough to do this. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next season, but it sounds that perhaps we have a bargain.
Think so.
I absolutely think so.
It would be my pleasure.
Well, is there any questions you have for me then?
Any additional information on where in the mines this was stored?
The mines themselves are not. The mines have likely spun in a great many directions. When the mask was deposited, it was in a cavern, so unlikely that they have found it yet. Meaning that the mines have likely not extended into that deep into the mountain yet. I cannot quite tell you much more than that. Should Storm's End fall and you're not able to locate the mask, then at least you will have cleared the way for us.
How far away from it is here? I think Flint might know. Flint or Toronto might know that, but
Are, if I remember correct, vaguely.
Let me look at the world.
It's like, it's not in the direction of the storm, right?
It's
sort of in the mountains here.
Yeah, it's like over by
Propitious.
okay.
Yeah.
As part of our deal, let's call it, to get us out of the city, our airship probably is locked down.
My airship.
Oh,
If it is locked down, if we were able to get out of there through that'd be great. We did come by airship, and I feel like it would be easier to get to the destination by air.
It will be done.
How much?
Appreciated.
How connected are you to the nobles of Consonance?
Not very.
All right.
But if you have a proposition,
I want
our
to
initial deal is perhaps wrapped up unless
we'll just keep it the favor. I just want to make sure I wasn't going to ruffle some feathers if I made a certain noble woman's life miserable. That's all.
nobles do not concern me other than Lord Pyre, who I keep appeased because it allows us to act with discretion.
Understood.
Which he then looks at Flint and says, it's important for him to be kept appeased.
I should put this in the new guy training or something. Sort of random thought. Do you guys profit and or lose money on all of the recent trading or sellings of vapor? Is this a good or bad thing for your organization? This has become a societal problem recently.
It's my understanding that that our network has been moving cargo, including vapor, yes.
Is that a portion of your business that you would be upset to no longer be in the business of?
I deal in influence, not money. It's not a concern of mine at all if a product ceases to exist. More if we are to blame for it to cease to exist, that would become a problem.
Fair.
And should it cease to exist, it's likely that we will still have some.
And it becomes only the more valuable, right?
To the right buyer.
Right.
Well,
You guys,
Anybody else have anything?
nope, I'm good.
I think this sounds great across the board.
I agree.
he sort of is sizing you all up in this moment. Everybody, actually, let me hit this button because I don't get to hit it enough. Make everybody roll a thing.
Yay!
Just for the little bit of pizzazz that the animated screen can share. As you all try to gauge
Shit.
him, Clax, have you rolled above a 10 all game, or I'm not sure?
I did earlier. On one of the perception checks. I rolled a 14, but outside of that, no.
I feel like 12 is about as low as Mouse could roll on insight.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, Clax, I try to always give you something even on these low rolls, but like I think one thing that you would not understand why he feels so comfortable in this room, other than that there's a bunch of statues, but like this is a guy that seems to be wearing like a red tunic and nothing else, and you're just like, what is this guy's like? Who is this guy? The rest, I'd say between Aesop and Drada, more so Drada, he looks poised to strike and has looked poised to strike this whole time. There's something about him that you're not sure what he's hiding, but you're reasonably certain that he is not what he seems. You, to put it perhaps poetically, even though he's not wearing a mask, you think he is. There's something more beneath this sort of simple dragonborn.
On a nat 20, do I like leave this conversation like?
Oh, that wasn't nat 20, sorry, because it wasn't green. I didn't realize that. I would say one thing you pull out is that his eyes are not dragon, they're snake.
Ooh, okay. That's fun. Do I leave this conversation feeling like, oh shit, I said too much, or just need to watch back?
You with the nat 20, you feel like a deal has been struck, and if you honor it, there will be no issues. And if you don't honor it, there might be issues. And it sounds like you guys are ready to depart at that point.
Yep.
Okay. I will reveal this just for fun. We'll see if it lags. But it's sort of as you guys are stepping out, you see that there is a number of Jade Mask folks that were just waiting. None of them give you any sign of hostility, but you get the sense that they were ready for something to happen and were ready to act if they needed to. But they all just sort of like, as you step out, they all nod at you, leading you back up the stairs.
Rada, you should have asked for an application.
If you need any more help in the future, I'd be happy to help in some way, official or not official. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I was in the deals were being struck. I didn't want to.
Oh, you gotta take space, Strata. You gotta take space. I wonder if Bryn Striana is part of the deal to get out of the city.
You last game she had sort of said like send me a sending and I'll meet you outside because
Oh,
she's not
that's
being
right.
tracked.
That's right.
As you all are out here, sort of you're still sort of in the museum at this moment, but I just changed this map because I forgot. One of the Jade Mask folks, who you imagine to be Amethy of the voice, sort of says, "Before the bridge, come to the green tent, and we will make sure you are unseen."
Is that best if we head there now, or
They're ready for you whenever.
How do you guys get communication done so quickly?
How indeed. And then she turns around.
Dang it!
Hey,
When-
before you go.
Oh.
Sorry, I meant to say this earlier. If the mask, as an organization or as an individual, is ever in need of more services, would be more than happy to oblige. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Oh. Yeah.
He's real
You
stealthy.
could've- You could have also just said, would love to join in the future.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I suspect there will be more opportunities.
Why do I feel like we're gonna be back in this city anyway?
I'd rather not.
Uh, I'm not convinced that it would be a good idea for me to come back.
True.
That all depends on how everything goes down.
Fair. Well, should we go try
Alright.
and cross the bridge?
Yeah, you gotta put your disguise back on though.
Oh, yeah. That's probably smart. I will disguise self as we make our way to the bridge.
All right. Anything that you guys want to do or talk about as you are navigating the city?
So, I hope you guys don't mind me kind of overstepping there, asking for additional favors. And I'm glad that the Jade Mask seemed okay with it. But the way I see it, it's a win-win, right? Is if we can stay in their good graces, we're trying to get as much support for the grand scheme of things as possible. And if that doesn't work out for whatever reason, then I still got something in my back pocket for selling Yvonne. But just after going to the astral plane, I kind of have a different perspective on things after I punch somebody's face in. But outside of that, like, there is so much more to this than I still don't understand it, to be honest. Like, I just don't get it. But I thought this was a golden opportunity if we can get in good. I wish I could remember something from Dragonborn history class, but there's something nagging at me about that. But
I mean, I think all in all, this is a good deal for us. Gets me out of the city. It puts a, bigger reason to go fuck up Storm's End, which a few of us are very eager to do. And also, I mean, I don't know that I realized prior to this the depth of the Jade Mask's connection to like Earth and Earth elementals and everything. And that seems relevant at the very least in our, longer term dealings with, Merodak, whatever that looks like. So, yeah.
DM
Seems
question. I'm not a Dragonborn, but in my studies, call it, Are there green dragonborn in this world?
I would say at the very least, Clax would know this if you wanted to ask Clax.
Yeah, I'll ask Clax. So
the answer is yes.
Okay, so it's not like an odd coloration thing. Okay, cool.
Out of character. I really wish Clax knew about the eyes, but
Well,
Oh.
I would chime in at some
Honest.
point. Like, did you see his eyes?
What was Drata got the natural
Fucking
20.
slit ass
I
eyes.
also got a nat 20.
It was creepy. It was creepy.
what do you mean
And
creepy?
hello, hi Clax. Grabs your face and just looks very closely into your eyes. See those? Those are eyes. Those are normal eyes. He had like, not in the dice term, but like snake eyes.
What do you mean snake eyes? Like not
Like-
these glowing, beautiful, majestic orbs that I have, but like the
No,
little
like-
slits,
He had like those.
those like crescent pupils. I don't even know how to describe them. Right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, and I'm saying that there are more secrets behind that figure that we do not know. And I think this is still a solid deal. I mean, personally, I'm elated. But I
So do you think they're not a
there's more.
dragonborn?
You know
You said it,
how
Nami.
you know how like you pretty quickly get the impression when you're around Arcana that Arcana's something extra.
Mhm.
Like you're in the presence of a very powerful, like important person in the world. Feeling that guy is one of those kinds of people.
Oh.
Not saying they're Arcana level, but that
At
was
least not in the same vein.
yeah. But that was the Jade Mask. Like
I just assumed it was the title for like this chapter, like because there's Jade Mask everywhere, right?
I'm pretty sure that guy
Is the
is
guy.
a big deal.
Yeah, I didn't know the Jade Mask was a person.
I don't know that I did either. But
And I just assumed it was, like the local Dragonsborns Club. You have the Grand Poobah who sits on the little chair and tells everybody in the local district what to do. But you're saying like he's way above that. It's like we're not getting help from just this group of the Jade Mask. We're getting the Jade Mask help.
I think that's true. I could be wrong, could have misjudged it, but like I feel like that guy, if Arcana's like the pinnacle of what mage can be, that guy might be the pinnacle of whatever he is. Rogue? Something? I don't know. Jade Masks aren't exactly rogues. They're roguey spellcasters. I don't know. I have a feeling he's scarier than Let's On.
Okay. So either way, I think we made out then.
Not a bad ally to have.
But I have a feeling this also is one of those where don't piss me off type situation. Then, if that's the case.
Yeah, we should try and stay on his good side.
Okay.
That's fair. Should we send Prince Gianna a quick message? Let her know
So-
we're on our way out?
It sounded like we could get our ship back, but how are we going to get the ship back for leaving the town across the bridge?
Well, I think we parked across the bridge. I don't think you're allowed
I
to
forgot
stop.
that. Good call.
And I'll assume the Jade Mask have that figured out.
I'll give Brinciana a ring. With the I forgot the spell name. Sending.
Ending.
Thank you.
Well, sound effects.
I'll be like, hey, girly. We found a way out of the city. We'll let you know when we make it out officially. Thanks for working with us. And if I could try to implement the most awkward smile face at the end of that statement, I would. Just
She responds and says, "I will meet with you promptly."
because it's still like middle of the night, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we're good with that.
As you approach the bridge, there is a sort of like you saw this coming in, but there was sort of like a Jade Mask's like kiosk or station, for lack of a better word, that had been on the incoming side, and now that you're on the outgoing side, you see a very similar thing. There does not seem to be a line of any kind there, but it's sort of as you're approaching sort of towards the tail end of your disguised self, one of the Jade Mask individuals ushers you in to this sort of like larger covered tent, where you see that there is a wagon that sort of has a number of sort of it sort of like is covered in a metal rectangular sheet that when you step inside or as you sort of inspect the inside of it, you see that there's all sorts of linings, like lead linings, as well as runic symbols, as well as any like number of things that you would have to more closely inspect to understand. But it seems that they have this enchanted, for lack of a better word, wagon that you that without even speaking, this Jade Mask agent seems to understand who you are and sort of points you into it.
Can I be the last one into the wagon when we go in?
Sorry, say it again.
I would like to be the last one to get into the wagon if possible.
Nothing like a couple miles in a lead-lined box.
Before I go in, I just want to look at the Jade Mask individual and be like, what? Someone that I know, a friend, let's say, wants to possibly join? Is there like an application? Is there like a space where you need to go to, like a seminar? Or is there anything like that they need to do to join?
Behind the mask, this person says, "Those who are noticed will be approached."
Hey, all right. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'll step into the wagon.
You get a nice, firm, hard hand on your shoulder, like a pat.
Before they sort of close the door on you, they say, "It is safe in here, albeit uncomfortable. You will be brought to the shipyard. We have released your vehicle and cleared you through the local enforcement to fly off. You may notice that the ship has a Jade flag attached to it that may be removed once you're outside of the boundaries of the city."
You guys were quick.
It is why we are trusted to operate by many. One reason. Please settle in. It should take about an hour. And we'll close the door behind you, leaving you in an incredibly dark space.
You guys should try to not touch anything or breathe too much. Lead's super bad for you.
Great. Yeah.
What do you mean it's bad for you? All my silver was made out of lead.
Well, that explains your aggression problems.
Gotta just cast rope trick. It's like, I'm chilling up here for the next hour. You're welcome to join.
Yeah.
It's all, yeah. If there's room for all of us, I think we would all take advantage of that.
Come back to a fun little cave.
See, Jordan, all you have to do is really just like ask for what you want, you know? It just
And
seems like
before you can climb into the rope is pulled out. Just no, come up.
Jordan, I think you pulled the rope up. I got you, girl. I got you.
As you're sitting in the rope trick, you see the gem on your book light up.
Oh, everyone, we got a message.
And
Open it up.
opening it up, you see like you're not sure how he did it because you don't necessarily operate the book in the same way, but you see almost like a copy of the wanted poster inscribed into the book, and it's sort of smaller and it's a little less detailed, and the message sort of attached to it says, "Everything okay?" ? Avendir.
Damn.
Okay, Flint, maybe you can help me write this. Maybe we could say, all fine. It was not something we did recently. It was part of Flint's past.
To be fair, I warned Avendir when I signed up that I had some events in my past that wouldn't necessarily reflect great on him, and he seemed fine with it. So
the response is, we're fine. We have the situation under control.
Yeah.
We are
You
fine.
can't deny service for pre-existing conditions.
Ooh, a little too real. And a little flourish of a signature. Whoosh. Sent
Okay.
off.
During the course of this ride, you get a response back and says, "I'm in the city for the next 2 weeks. If you need help, ask."
We just needed to wait one night.
if I look up when he's supposed to be here, do I already know that we're...
Yes, he's technically in town as part. There's like a scheduled break that he would be in Flamebridge during all the auction tours, and he is scheduled to be here for a little longer.
It is unfortunate that we didn't notice or make that connection, because we've been trying to meet up with him for a while, and totally just forgot that. All right.
Well, maybe when we finish with Brenstriana, and, I mean, his next stop can't be too far from here. I don't think we want to go back into Flamebridge, but we could potentially meet him in the next city.
Well, his ship's got to be parked out here. Like...
Oh yeah, did he just land? Because we're going to the shipyard.
Where's... How do I open the calendar if I've closed it?
Looking at that.
On the left sidebar, there's like the journal or like the ribbon notes, and then there's a simple calendar button.
Wow, that's
It's a little
crazy.
hard to find, but
Jory's not part of this little trip he's on, right? He's
Jory's
just-
not on his crew. Jory's
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
He's
you
on his
know
own
that. Well, I will say. I mean, you know that one of the places Jory was touring was Source Institute, but you didn't see Jory while you were there. Because you have because it was part of the puzzle. I just want to share that that today is the start of a new moon as well. Which was potentially relevant, but it didn't come up.
Well, that's a tease.
Yeah. Well, so as you all take the wagon out, sort of wondering if you missed Avendir like 2
Ships passing in the
Two
night.
ships passing in the night. Yeah, I was like, two birds passing. No, you wonder if there was an opportunity there, but you are brought sort of directly towards your ship. Before the door opens, you immediately see, or as the door opens, you immediately see Mouse's airship the way home. For the sake of simplicity, we're just going to say that this was where Brinstriana will be meeting you as well, because I don't want you guys to spend another spell slot to coordinate that. And you do see that it is affixed with a sort of like a flag that sort of seems to act as it's very, very reminiscent of a flag that is placed on the wagon. And in this way, you sort of read it to be a signal that says like whatever's in here is property of or at least authorized by the Jade Mask. And you feel confident in your ability to take off here soon.
We can keep that flag for other purposes, I feel like.
I feel like
Or
that
keep it-
might be frowned upon, but
What might be?
Hold
Sorry.
it just in case.
Well, if we have to fly back into the city, maybe we'll put the flag back on and you disguise yourself. We're
Yeah.
a Jade Mask ship coming back.
Reuse, reduce, recycle, right?
Great, absolutely.
As you're waiting for Brinstriana, you do look up at the shipyard, and you do like it's pretty dark outside, but you do think you see among the numerous ships here, you think you do see the Azure Phoenix, which is Avendir's airship, docked in one of the towers. You guys were forced to park on the ground level because your ship wouldn't anchor to the tower, but you see the Azure Phoenix, kind of where most of the larger trade ships are parked. It appears that the lights are off. Like it is not occupied, at least from your vantage point. So you imagine that Avendir must be somewhere in the city. But eventually, Brinstriana rejoins you, and says, "Seems that your journey was successful."
I would say so.
Well, then we have business to get to. I will point you in the right direction. I've brought my gear. I am not terribly useful in a fight, so I will ask that you lead once we find ourselves in a dangerous situation, but I am ready when you are.
Owen?
Well, let's get going then.
And you all take off in your airship. But that, I think, is probably the best part to end on. You guys, for awareness, are let me do some measuring on the old map. You imagine it to be a 9-day trip there and then a 9-day trip back. So whether or not you'll actually see Avendir, I think, is actually in question, but I'd have to do the math on his dates. But you know where, if you really want to get into it, you'll know where he's going next, should you need to.
I was going to say, I was trying to find it. I thought I had made a copy of the picture at some point, but I can't seem to. Where's the schedule for his trips?
Yeah, I thought it was in somebody's inventory, but I can. It might also just be in Discord somewhere, so I'll make sure you have that. We don't need to look it up right now.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought it was in like notes or something similar, like the way we have the way home.
Oh, right. Yeah, it might be. I'll make sure you guys have it one way or the other if you want to catch up on that. But for now, you are heading towards the Nightmire, which think about the questions that you might ask Bryn Striana leading up to that. Because I think she's given you like a little bit of a lay of the land, but probably not too much. Then
DM question.
Sure.
Was Jory at the Source Institute while we were there?
No, he was not there.
Okay, thank God. Oh, my heart would have been broken.
Well, I will say this: as far as you know, he's still scheduled to go there, and it might not be a safe place to go, or it might not be a good place to go. So you might need to let him know at some point.
Ooh, yeah, that's smart.
But no, he is among the many places he has to go to. I think he might be in Dusklight now. But
We're heading to the Nightmare?
yeah, which is like the very bottom of Ventus. It's sort of like a swampy area.
We could fly over Storm's End on our way.
I'm sure that's safe.
Yeah.
So safe.
Okay.
Totally not like a no-fly zone.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not. The safest place you could ever be.
Are we a helicopter or are we an airplane?
Good question.
Both.
Alright. Bad attempt at a joke. In poor taste.
Starship?
Oh,
Everything's going over my head today. Let's wrap up.
Good night, everyone.
Night,
Stay
good night.
warm tomorrow.
Good luck with telework or not.
Thank you.
This was so fun. Thank y'all.
good seeing you.